Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of Indexer Office Hours. Today is the 8th of July and this is Indexer Office Hours 215 as Juan has posted the agenda in the chat. You can go ahead and check it out there. For anyone who is new to Indexer Office Hours, this is the town square where graph ecosystem participants come together and discuss the most important and relevant topics for indexers. As always, this is a conversation and we do love participation, so please do get involved in today's conversation via voice or text. If you have any challenges with that, do let me know and I will get that sorted for you. It would be lovely to have your input in today's discussion because it's going to be more of an open one in nature. So yeah, would love to have your voice be heard. And again, if you have any challenges, let me know and I'll get that sorted for you. As a reminder, this session is recorded and posted onto public channels like YouTube. So if you are concerned about privacy, please bear that in mind. And with that, let's get into today's agenda. I always hand it off to Carlos for the regularly scheduled repo watch section, and today is no different. So without further ado, Carlos, feel free to take it away.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so for the repo watch this week, so has been also a lot of activity. A lot of it kind of patch releases as a follow-up of some major releases we had last week. So to get started, 𝗨𝘀𝗀𝗳𝗀 has a new patch release, 3.0.12, released a few days ago. We have Get, with also a hotfix, a bunch of fixes after their 1.16.0 release last week. So it's 1.16.1. It's important to update this one if you have upgraded. REST also has a patch release after the 1.50. They have now the 1.51. This one has a few critical fixes. I also highly recommend it to update. We have a new patch release for 𝗨𝗀𝗳𝗀𝗀 Nitro, which is, I think Matthew is here. It's exciting, sir, because there's not been that many releases of Nitro. This one also solves some important fixes, and I think some problems they were having with sync till block functionality. We have a new 𝗨𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 release, clearing up temporary mess we had on the coming up to the future Polygon fork. So 𝗨𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 1.6.0 is now stable release and out, and can be run both on mainnet and testnet. So everyone should really update this one over the next day or so, because I think it's scheduled for the 10th of this month for the hard fork. So update before that. We have Streaming Fest putting up releases, also keeping up to date with these upstream ones. So there's new images for Get and for Polygon. Get going with the 1.16.1 fixes as well. Polygon getting bumped to 2.2.5, and there's a new Firehose Ethereum now going to version 2.12.1. All of this seem to have like a decent chunk of updates, especially the Firehose Ethereum has some performance updates. Please take care to follow the updating order if you update your Firehose Ethereum. Should be tier 2 servers before tier 1. And no consensus layer clients, and I think I've gone over all of them. Yes. So that's it for the indexing stack. Now, on the graph stack, we still are not announcing any new releases, but there has been pre-releases across the board, including when it does get merged, a version bump towards the officially supported graph nodes, finally. So these pre-releases are either very recent and are connected to Horizon support, or the long-awaited bump of the future Matrix support client, officially support graph node, which has been in draft for now a couple of weeks. Hopefully it will not be too long before all of this gets officially released and merged. And lastly, on the Launchpad stack, there are short versions for all of these releases. They're up to date as of today. So there's a new one for 𝗨𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, 𝗨𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and 𝗨𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, Nitro, all keeping up with the latest upstream releases. And that's it. Thanks, Matthew. Yes, it's on the 10th. And that's it for this week. Thank you all.
Okay, I'm gonna continue with Protocol Watch now. Next up for forum governance, we have a small update to the latest dispute, which is the thread request for information about disputes 𝗨𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗑$3 I think it was Protofire indexer. They manually closed an allocation with a last known POI instead of a 0x0 POI. So that's, that shouldn't be done that way. We waited and waited. And even asked for some clarification on their side. We went as far as to, manually reaching through Discord to different, accounts for the Protofire indexer. No luck, no response, and it ended up in the accepted dispute. So it's a slash. It has been already, the transaction has already gone through, and the response has already come in the forums. So that's a closed one. We don't have any new updates for the forum research. For the contract repository, we have some updates to some of the PRs for either Graph Horizon and the subgraph service, and some or other chore items that we can see there, like the replacing a broken batch, moving all the interfaces to a dedicated package. Not that much more on the contract repository side. For the network subgraph side, we do have a small and really brief update on the core network subgraph L1 subgraph fix. It has been published already. It is really just not that big of a deal. It's just a fix so that the L1 subgraph doesn't crash on a particular issue with a retriable ticket. So aside from anyone running the Ethereum subgraph, which I don't think it's that many, anyone else shouldn't be bothered with this one. But yeah, there is a working version of the L1 subgraph now published in the network. And that's pretty much it. So I see Kate's around, so I'm gonna be handing over.
Hi, everyone. On our end, we have completed our reporting for Chapel, and so we'll look to advance that to governance soon, and Sepolia should be able to follow suit there. We finished our testing on Barachain. That will be upcoming, and testing for CELO looks good. Like I said, that they already have rewards, but we'll have updated documentation there for more folks that want to support CELO since they're moved to L2. A lot of folks from the foundation I believe they're on rest week this week, so we'll be able to have more updates when it comes to governance and moving things forward when they come back. Thanks.
Alrighty. Thanks everyone for the sections there, and thanks Juan for responding to the question there from Matthew in the chat. Okay, wonderful. The next segment is indexer support, and we have been opening up space for anyone to share things that they're challenged with at the moment, that they would like to surface or bubble up, so that it can get addressed. And so I just wanted to create some space for that, and also ask folks, how we can best utilize the time that we have here for that segment, because I want to make sure that it's maximally useful. So if anyone has any thoughts, feel free to fire away. I see Mickey's typing. Keen to hear what people are thinking. Perfect. Amazing. Thanks for letting us know. If folks do have anything, like, far away. I see Matthew is typing there. Okay, that's in response to Juan's point. I also have like a broader question about how to ensure that this segment that we have in IOH is maximally useful. We I opened up this segment last week, and sounds like there wasn't much uptake, and so I want to know like how to make this maximally useful, because I know that in the past it's been uh, requested, and so yeah, would love to make sure that it's uh, pretty useful. So if anyone has any thoughts on how to um, structure this segment to make it as useful as possible, would love to hear thoughts on that as well. I see Marc Andre is typing. Yeah, keen to hear people's thoughts. See Josh is typing as well. Awesome. See people typing. Awesome. Keen to hear people's thoughts. Yeah, yeah. If only uh I see Pain is here. Do you know how we can get some Jeopardy music onto onto Discord? That would be pretty cool. Um, um, when someone has an issue, it's super useful. When there's no issue being brought, it it was useful to have the space, but sometimes there won't be, and that's fine too. Okay. Hearing people's thoughts. Uh, hearing people's thoughts is someone that X-Men what? Hearing people's thoughts is someone that X-Men did. Okay. I don't think I understand that. Oh yeah, our soundboard today. Yeah, Payne, if you could hook us up with some sounds, we'd love that. It sounds like he's grabbing his DJ deck, which is great. Great idea for a segment to make this useful. We should publicize it a little bit. For example, mentioning it in indexes when indexes seem stuck with an issue. Yes, okay, definitely, definitely. That's a good shout. Um, um, Mickey, quick question: uh, is Mitch the one manning the indexers channel response questions and things like that? I have a long shot question if you want to put. Sure, go away. Go ahead, Marc Andre, if you'd like to fire away. Oh, I see you've unmuted, but I can't seem to hear you. Just gonna make sure you have the right uh, permissions. Oh, you have several permissions. You should be able to speak. Uh, Let me see if you've got presenter, verified indexer. Presenter. Okay. I've given you all the roles that are required to speak, so you should be able to. Sorry, new machine, so I need to change my settings. Okay, that's fine.
Can you hear me now?
I see. Ah, yes, wonderful. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Great.
Yeah, it was all on my side. I needed to set up the keys and everything. So yeah, just a
That's all good.
long shot question, and yeah, great idea for this segment. I think we can probably invite the indexers that pop in the Discord channels with some tough questions for which you don't have answers, and we'll invite them to join this dialogue. So I think that's great. I just want to talk about I guess a recurring problem I've been having lately, especially on BSC. BSC changed the block time quite a bit. It used to be 3 seconds. Now it's 0.75 seconds. That effectively killed many subgraphs for which we are not able to index quickly enough. So these subgraphs are now lagging and they get behind, and we never seem to be able to catch up. So I'm sure that makes a lot of users very unhappy about it. I was wondering if that's a problem that is known and if developers are aware of this challenge. And if there's anything that is in the works or anything that we could try to fix that. So it's a really long shot question. I don't have a really precise thing to ask other than, is anyone looking at that, and can we assist in any way to resolve this problem?
Yeah, really do appreciate you offering your hand to assist with the problem. I think someone is. I think the Edge team are aware. I see Mickey's typing. Maybe Mickey, you can chime in if there's thoughts you want to share.
Yeah, I'll just unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, TLDR, yes, we're definitely aware. When I brought that up with the GraphNode team, maybe a month ago or so, they felt that at the time when we knew that BSC and I think there are a couple other chains that are having their block times as well, maybe Polygon and a couple others, they felt that indexing, like sync speeds, wouldn't worsen. That was their hypothesis. But if that hypothesis is wrong, then we need to be aware of it. I assume the subgraphs you mentioned, Marc-Andre, have a ton of ETH calls. Is that the case? And were they struggling before BSC block time was reduced?
I think the challenge there is the large amount of triggers, but I could be wrong. These subgraphs were, I guess they were okay. They were like borderline. I guess they were kind of on borderline problem. Maybe not every indexer were able to index them quickly enough. So I know that on some of these subgraphs, there were like 2 or 3 indexers only being able to index them. So the latest block time change really pushed the subgraphs towards the territory where we're not able to index quick enough. So basically, there's subgraphs for every block. We require around 1 or 2 seconds of processing. So that was not a problem when the block time was 3 seconds. But when it fell to 1.5, that became challenging. And at 0.75, it's now completely impossible to keep up.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it would be helpful if you've already put this in the indexer channel. I can go hunt for that, or if you wouldn't mind sending me just some QM hashes of a few subgraphs that come to mind as examples, I can bring those to the GraphNode team and see if there's anything we can do to improve that. It's possible that some of these subgraphs could be candidates for migrating those users over to substreams if that solves performance issues. But yeah, definitely something we can investigate internally and see if there's anything we can do to improve that.
Okay, great. Yeah, I probably mentioned them a few times already, but I'll summarize everything. And I've done some investigations on mine as well, so I'll list what I tried to do, and maybe that could be useful. But yeah, I agree that. Yeah, I agree that in the end, what we probably need to do is to get these users or the subgraph developers to migrate to Substream or something else, because yeah, we're probably hitting some fundamental limits of GraphNode.
Totally. Yeah, that was our suspicion too. The subgraphs that would be affected were already kind of borderline unhealthy anyway, or struggling to stay at chainhead, and have maxed out kind of the performance of what's possible with subgraph, our current like subgraph stack. But I see Payne's typing something. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind sharing the investigation you've done and a few QM hashes, that would be super helpful.
Sure, I'll do that. Thank you.
I was just commenting on the mic. Yeah, he did mention that it was a new machine, and so I think there might be some mic issues there. But yeah, it's. I think it's like I can understand. Yeah, not usual setup. AirPods. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And then there's a question here from Hao, saying, any updates on the latest indexer agent? Any updates on the latest indexer agent able to close non-deterministic errors, error subgraphs? Yeah, DC data center fair. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Mickey, you just unmuted there.
Yeah, I am not sure. That's a great question. I do have so in the next indexer agent release, we'll ship auto grafting. And that should come maybe this week or next week at the latest. I think it's already pretty much ready to go. I'll ask Dan, who kind of manages that repo, your question as well, and see what he has to say.
I know Vince has been looking forward to auto grafting for a while, so that's good. That's good to hear. Um, is it worth maybe getting on some folks who are working on auto grafting onto IOH to discuss it? Who do you know who exactly is working on auto grafting within
Yeah,
Node?
yeah, it's Dan, one of our team members, Dan. I'll chat with him and see if he'd be willing to come to maybe next week's IOH or the next one after he releases it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I know Vince has been pretty excited for that. So yeah, that would be pretty cool to discuss. Cool, awesome, amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, keep the questions coming. This is great. And yeah, just to kind of follow up on what I was saying earlier, on manning the support. Um, reason why I asked who's manning the support on the indexer channel is to respond to Marc-Andre's point about making this more public visible to indexers. So perhaps if there's something happening in the indexer channel, we can just mention, hey, look, if it might be easier to bring this up at the next IOH, as this like a support segment where you can go back and forth and make sure things are being hashed out properly. So yeah, like if whoever's, I mean, it sounds like the whole support team is monitoring the indexer channel, so it'd be great to have folks you know share this with the indexers, and I'll also do some maybe tweeting beforehand or something, or figure out ways that we can publicize this so that and maybe messages in Discord as well to publicize this before IRH sessions. Oh, we have a question, but it got crossed out. Um, uh, do you still want us to address that question, Louis? I'm assuming maybe not. Uh, since it's been crossed out there. No need if Mickey's on it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Mickey is solving. Maybe just the struggling ones. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, saves time and just focuses on the necessary change. Um, yeah, yeah. Awesome. Um, would love to hear any more thoughts people have for not only things that they're struggling with. Appreciate Marc-Andre shooting the shot with the long shot. Seems to have landed, which is great, and there's going to be a follow up. So if anyone has any thoughts on things that they'd like to share or discuss, or also I'm quite keen on getting feedback, just as Marc-Andre said, on publicizing this more. I'd love to know how we can make this a useful segment as well, because I want to make sure that like there's enough time in IOH to get support questions answered, and people feel like they're being heard. So would love some thoughts on either feedback, suggestions, or just general kind of like troubles that people are facing that we can discuss in today's call.
I guess I'll come off mute and just say, in Orion's new role at the foundation, he has loads and loads of ideas on how to improve support for indexers and just kind of streamline that a bit and get you guys better support. So definitely more to come on that in the coming weeks. I just wanted to mention that it's definitely, at the forefront of his mind.
Amazing. Yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of Orion lately, but he seems super busy, like flying from place to place and um doing all these things. I know him in person pretty well, and yeah, he's off this week. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. He even when he's working 24/7, and so he's um uh, yeah, he's running at 100 miles an hour. But yeah, I'll definitely I'll message him again when he's back. So he's back next week, okay? And yeah, he deserves a break. He works very, very hard, very, very hard. So yeah, we'll get a hold of him and maybe share some awesome questions to hear a bit more about his thoughts. Appreciate you sharing that, Mickey. So those who haven't filled out his questionnaire, he's asking good questions. Every index chime in. Yeah, most certainly, most certainly. Actually, if we can, do you have a link handy, Marc-Andre, or I can try and find one, because yeah, it would be great to get that filled out if folks uh if folks let's see. Let me find it and post it here. Okay, cool. Kate's gonna grab a link. Amazing. Thank you so much, Kate. Yeah, would be great to have some feedback being or great for folks to have their input heard on that feedback form. Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Marc-Andre. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I want to make sure that all the stuff gets integrated into all of the new updates that are being worked on in behind the scenes. Cool. Payne, where's the DJ? Where's the DJ Jack? Where are the sounds? We're waiting on the music, on the background music. Okay. There we go. Thanks, Matthew. Yeah, I miss the soundboards. We seem to have not be using them anymore. We got to get back on the soundboard game. It was there you go. It was good fun. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the whiteboard over here. There you go. Soundboard coming through. And yeah, I'm gonna open up the whiteboard here. Yeah, yeah, that one's crazy. That's a pain. That's a pain soundboard. I remember that one. We had to like reduce the volume several times because it was so loud. That's a good one. So I'd love to get a couple of thoughts on first future topics. So there's a couple of topics that I'm working on for future IOH sessions. And maybe it'd be great to hear people's thoughts on the ones that I have here that are kind of being worked on at the moment, and the ones that maybe you guys want to see. And yeah, it'd be great to kind of rank these because I need to know in my head which things people would find the most valuable in IOH, what things people would find the most valuable IOH so that I can prioritize them. So if folks want to have a look at the future topics that I have here that are in the works, it would be great to get some thoughts on any of these. Maybe just like drop like a +1 on any of them if you think they're interesting, and then I'll tally up the +1s and see which ones have the most. And then if you also want to just like post potential feedback, potential topics for future episodes, for future IOH sessions, would love to hear that as well. So yeah, fire away if folks have any thoughts. Would love to hear. Yes. That was amazing. I mean, I remember a lot of people really appreciated the Postgres sessions. So I think there's probably some sufficient appetite for another one. I wonder if we were to do one, what do people want to hear or see? Maybe that'd be a good idea to share with John as well. So it sounds like Hao is pretty keen for that. If you want to type through either in the chat box or in the whiteboard what you'd like to see in a future Postgres session, I can follow up with Mickey and John to get that set up. Like any questions you guys have or any things that you guys are facing, yeah, no problem, Mickey. Yeah, I'm very keen to get this set up because I remember we kind of did, it was a while back that we did this kind of like almost like Postgres series where we did a series of videos just all around Postgres, and that got a lot of a lot of positive attention, and people were appreciating it. So any thoughts on what in particular people would like to hear from those Postgres sessions? Would love to hear thoughts. Anyone got any thoughts on Postgres session, or just maybe a more general session that's led by John, and and maybe that will like spark questions, thoughts, and ideas. Perhaps is that something people would be more keen for? See, Mickey's typing. Yeah, of course. If there's anything that you guys have in mind ahead of the session, that would be fantastic. But if it's something that you guys want to attend and maybe just, you know, more of an AMA style, or have some content be prepared in advance, uh and then kind of that will spark questions, then that's also fine as well. See, Juan and Mickey are typing. Specific questions are help him for sure, but he could do a general stuff like dropping it, like dropping indexes and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, ideally, yeah. If folks have any specific questions, then we can direct the session as Mickey suggested. But also just a general session is also on the cards as well. I see Josh is typing. Hopefully, there's some thoughts there to be shared. Session on shards, migrating from one to another, so that you can close one, large scale movements of data. Okay, amazing. Yeah, I do have a session here on the list of things to prepare with Lutter. So maybe Lutter could be a pretty good person to chime in on that. So I'm happy to share that. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Appreciate it, Josh. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. This is great. David is out for a month or so. Okay. Oh, okay. That's useful. That's useful to know. That's a month from now, I would assume. Or he's been, yeah, starting now, basically. Okay. Okay. That's helpful to know. Okay. All right. All right. I will follow up with him next month when he's so he so you won't get any time with him until August. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Got it. Got it. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, I will. I'll try and get something on the diary then for August. I'll message him when he gets back. Okay, folks. Yeah, keep him coming. I see Hal's typing. Postgres. Oh, create indexes. Okay, great. So this is something that you'd like to hear from John. Cool, cool. Like, is this like you want him to create indexes in real time, or talking a bit about how to do them? What exactly are you looking for there? A tutorial how to? Okay. Yeah, I assumed it was the case. Good to double check. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I'm happy to forward that on and get that conversation going. In fact, I can do that straight after today's IOH, so we can get that on the cards. Another thing that I mean, we auto grafting seems to be also on the cards as well, which is great. So we'll follow up with Mickey on that one. Just to update you guys, so I know that in the previous conversations we've been discussing a more strategic conversation with core developers, like one big conversation. And Pili and I have been speaking to a few core devs and the foundation, and they've also been thinking about doing some comms around the kind of general strategic direction of the graph and discussing that with indexers and talking about like the role of the indexer going forward and how just so you guys are informed. There are a few discussions that are being had at the moment about how to best approach this and which venue is the best place to do it. There's a working group call for indexer experience that is done internally that is going to be potentially so many questions. Definitely. This is definitely a big one that people are keen to hear from. And it takes a lot of coordination amongst various people and alignment on how to do it. But just kind of an update on that, people we're kind of just discussing like what approach to take with this discussion. I'm obviously trying to push for this to be discussed at IOH because this is where the indexers will come to anyways every week, and it happens every week, without fail. And so we'll give you guys more updates the more that progresses. Few key players who are involved in that discussion are out of office at the moment, but we'll make sure that gets sorted ASAP. And I've recorded some of the questions that you might have, Marc-Andre, from previously, because I know that we had a session on this a while ago about what kind of things people would like to hear, and I remember you being quite vocal, which is amazing. So I've recorded a bunch of questions that I've shared with core developers as well. So yeah, just know that is being worked on. Nice. I like the gift. There. A new thing that came out recently is hypergraph. I'm curious to know what people think about that. If they'd like a person from the Geo team to come along and just maybe share a few bits and bobs about that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it would be great to hear people's thoughts on, if we were to bring on someone to talk about hypergraph, what kind of things they would like to hear about the project. Obviously got announced recently, so there's a lot of things that are still being worked on. Docs have been released so people can kind of play around with it and learn. Yeah, if that's something that people are keen for, I'd love to hear what exactly you'd like to get from that session. So maybe if anyone has thoughts, I'll pause.
Yeah, hypergraph is definitely something I want to hear more about it. But yeah, I know. Remember, one of the things I ask is the positioning or the role of indexers for the new services and the new products are being launched. There were a few. That's another one. I'm sure there's are coming. So yeah, what's the role of indexers for these products? I understand that at first we need to get the product running. We need to find product market fit, but what's the vision, the long-term vision for the indexers in there?
That's fantastic. Yeah. That's what I've just put down here. So the role of indexers in this new in these new products, and just the general kind of vision. Perhaps I can get Yaniv to come on to discuss that, because he's quite good at like capturing the bigger picture and explaining it in a very articulate way. So yeah, would definitely be a good topic to discuss. And understanding how GRT is used within that as a main impact to indexes overall. Yeah, okay, that's a great question. Yeah. Yeah, that's obviously something that matters from a financial perspective as well. Yeah, 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 for sure. Any thoughts on hypergraph specifically? Any, like, keep them coming. I'm gonna try to get Yaniv or someone from the team to come over and just discuss that. So would love to hear thoughts from folks on this. Okay, I'll stick with that and take it from there. So yeah, I will I'll reach out to the Geo team to ask more about would scope out what a session would look like and make sure that the discussion about indexers and the role they would play in not only this product but I guess also other products as well. As Univ has this kind of like pretty good high level vision of the graph ecosystem, and then also like how GRT will be used within this product, and maybe a discussion about that more broadly with other products as well. Cool. Any oh, I saw Mickey was typing there. Feel free to chime in if you've got any thoughts, Mickey. Yes, that's a great question. So Mickey's asking, I'd be curious to hear how indexers are using AI tooling. I'm assuming that that's referring to like AI tooling within their stack, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, folks, feel free to fire away. Are there any AI aficionados in the chat? Anyone using it in a very profound, interesting way to speed up or automate aspects of their stack and or their operation, trying to use AI to get notifications about when hard forks are coming, but so far not working well. Interesting. What exactly are you trying to yeah, yeah, why isn't it working well? Yeah, and also just what how are you approaching it? Very curious to hear that. Louis seems to be coming into the fray here. I'm assuming you're an avid user of AI within your operation, so feel free to share some thoughts. I met God through Graph Assist. Yeah, share more pain. That sounds pretty trippy. Pepe LSD. There you go. I see Mark Andre's typing, and so is Louis. Yeah, also Matthew, feel free to share some thoughts on this tool that you're trying to build on AI notifications for hard forks. I guess you're just probably monitoring these something. See a lot of people typing. Using AI tools to replace the intern, the resident DBA expert, and as a replacement for a graph node dev to answer my questions about my code base. Nice, very nice, very nice. I like it. Trying to pass Twitter feed / GitHub issues to get info, but info is not always available. Yeah, that's fair. That might be a tricky one there. Yeah. Louis saying scraping and monitoring news and publications to figure out relevancy is hard. Yes, yeah, definitely see how that could be quite tricky. Mickey asks, which tools are you guys using for this? I see that you guys are typing here. That's Jonathan and Louis. Hence the excited GIF when we mention AI from Louis. ChatGPT o3 for general questions. Interesting. You're using quite a large model there. And Cursor and Claude for coding and code base interrogation. Code Claude is impressive, yeah. 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 Anything agentic you'd want the core devs to ship / improve your lives, assuming we had the resources to do so? That's a great question. Using O3 to develop token API, but that's not an index application. Yeah, but also quite interested to hear about it if you want to share. I know it's not strictly index or application or index or relevant, but it definitely useful nonetheless. or interesting to hear at the very least. Zapper N8 for workflows with AI. Yeah, N8N is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of N8N. It's very I'm using it personally for a lot of things as well. It's very like you can create some pretty complex workflows which are pretty cool. Semi-automating, scraping, learning, building, building posts and relevant, the graph news to each community of semi-automating, scraping, learning, building posts and relevant the graph news to each community for each chains in each of their top 10 socials across 5 languages. Okay, sounds like quite a bit of information, all scattered and unstructured. So yeah, I can see how gathering that information, also like assessing sentiment, could be quite tricky. I'm using the Gemini API to understand the release note. Okay, nice. Gemini is pretty cool. It's pretty good based on what I've used so far. Like I've used it for quite a few things. It's quite capable. More than enough included O3 queries on the 20. Okay, nice. Okay, so so it's actually not so expensive. Very cool. AI learning on each leads we generate. Custom replying to each independently is the next step. Okay, wow, that's yeah, that's a pretty cool setup. Abel, are we able to capture all of this info for both current tools being used plus any? Yes, of course. Yeah. I'm happy to grab all this information. Where would you like me to send it to you, or where should we store it, and how should we uh yeah, to you? Okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll post call. I'll just grab all this information and share it with you. I will. Oh, yeah, happy to do that. And then how is saying scripting's Python Bash to enhance organize my indexer actions? Okay, this is all useful. This is very useful because then it also informs. Yeah, could inform future stuff that the core developers do. For incidents, we're using AI to build the incident summaries based on the team discussion. Nice, very cool. And then Mickey's just suggesting Rootly as a tool. Atlassian is deprecating 𝗨𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. So we're looking at replacements. Rootly has had some nifty AI features. Nice. Maybe might be worth sharing a link there, Mickey, if you have a link. And then I'm also going to share something as well. I'm going to share the POAP code. It's always in the agenda, but it's important to share here in case folks forget that it's in the agenda. And also just remember the window closes at 6:20 UTC. So feel free to grab the part there. Amazing. Thanks for sharing the Rootly link there. Okay, in the final 10 minutes, just as that conversation is going, as always, I'd love to gather some feedback on from folks on how we can improve IOH as a general core that we have. It was fantastic to hear people's thoughts on how we could improve the segment of like indexer support. So we'll definitely get that done and make sure that it's more publicized. But if folks have any general thoughts on how we can improve the format, want to try different new formats, very keen to hear, so I can incorporate that into future planning. So if anyone has any thoughts, I'd love to hear. And then I'm also going to make a note here from Mickey to send this information on to you, just so I don't forget. Send Mickey AI information from indexers. Cool. Done. It's one of those things where you have to get it on a to-do list, otherwise it's tricky to keep tabs of things. Yeah, you're very welcome, Mickey. And then Louis is just expanding on his AI workflows. So scrape everybody's posts, engagement within graph on X, calculate the delta, and post it into an internal chat celebrating people from the graph. This month's in even, Kevin. Very nice. Much more, but not work related. Very cool. Very cool. Sounds like Louis is an avid AI user, which is great. If you have any alpha and thoughts about how to best incorporate it into your work, into other people's workflows, and just general suggestions about how to utilize it best, that would be awesome to hear. There's a Kubernetes NPC. Interesting. Thanks for sharing. Who created that? Do we know? Someone from the Graph ecosystem, maybe? No? Yeah. Interesting. I guess somebody probably from the Kubernetes ecosystem, most likely. For each meeting we do. Okay. That's okay. I see what you mean. I missed that one there. So this is a good bit of alpha. For each meeting they do, they batch summarize action items and transform them into tasks in Notion and Slack to follow up on for every day and then every week. Wow, that is amazing. And you built that yourself, Louis? Or is that something that you guys are using a tool for? That's a pretty cool tools. Okay, yeah. There are so many different tools to be able to do these kinds of things. It's very important. And 7,000 now, yeah. I wonder if I wonder if we could use that in IOH. If I could maybe just like either have something listen into an IOH session on Discord or plug in the recording after, and then have it summarize, share action items. Because I mean, I obviously try and write everything down. If somebody asked me to do something like Mickey, for example, but it'd be great to like get a list of action items just to make sure I don't miss anything. That's pretty cool. I use Otter AI for that, but really struggles with non-American accents. Yes, yeah, not the best, but so could I guess Otter AI is only useful in the context of Zoom meetings, Google Meet, that kind of stuff. It wouldn't work with Discord, right? I don't know. Does anyone know? Is anyone an avid, like Mickey? If you're an avid user, do you know? I have no clue actually. Yeah. Okay. I'll have a look at that. Yeah. I use Fireflies, but again, it's only for like Zoom and Google Meet. I'm a reluctant user. That's funny. Can use Fireflies in the background. Yeah. I'll have I'll investigate this stuff because it could be interesting. Tact IQ, Auto Fellow. There's there's so many of these things. Wait, you run it all day? So it's listening to everything like you do throughout the day. Wow, interesting. This is kind of like a Cluely type situation. Processes your day, and what like do you get like a daily summary of all the things that you've done, and you find that useful? Wow. So it's what is it doing? Is it like Cluely where it's like monitoring your screen, or is it just recording your audio? Like, what exactly is happening? That's surprising. It's recording you. Privacy nightmare. Wow, I'm genuinely surprised that it's recording me right now. Oh gosh, I'm gonna be in your summary. That is funny. That is really funny. Should also mention we use Copilot to do PR code reviews. Yeah, that's pretty useful. Yeah, I can imagine that's pretty helpful. So Louis, it's recording you 24/7 basically, and then at the end of the day you get some sort of summary. And is this like a productivity thing? This helps you keep tabs of all the stuff that you've got done throughout the day, or what's the like how is this improved your work? Have you been able to like spot ways that you can improve, and including you babysitting the dog? Yeah, I guess so. That's so interesting. It 10x really? Wow, that's surprising. I'm have you tried Cluely? it's kind of a similar premise, but allows you to have AI kind of like support you in meetings and just in general. This is so interesting. I've never met anyone who has AI, you know, have access has an AI that has access that has access to everything that you do. People revolted, then Microsoft wanted to do the same. Yep. Yeah, this is interesting. I see Louis typing there, adding some more context. I'll have to yeah, hear more about this. But as you're typing there, I'll so many things to talk about. Yeah, maybe I'll follow up with you some other time to discuss this. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how you set this up and how it's improved your workflow. Wow, this is amazing. Anyways, we're at the top of the hour, so I want to say a special thank you to each and every one of you for joining today's IOH episode. This was a great conversation. We learned a lot, and I will follow up on all the stuff that we've discussed in today's conversation. And I wish you guys all a fantastic rest of your day. And we'll see you guys again, same time next week for another edition of IOH. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.